We're always looking for brand new things, and I'm so excited to show you something that meets that criteria.
What I really liked about working with these is that you can personalize them with your very own image and create wearable works of art.
And that's hard to say 3 times fast, wearable works of art. Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about glass tiles. If you're intrigued, come play with us. Okay, well, glass tiles come in lots of different sizes
And shapes.
And here are some examples. Now, these up here are using Easy Peasy, so we'll show that. I guess we better show the glass tiles, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let me scoot these out, and you'll bring in the unfinished ones.
Okay, so they come clear, as you can see.
Right.
And they have rectangles, small rectangles, large and small squares, and then large and small circles.
Right.
As well as these metal bails, and that's what you're going to use to hang your necklace.
Right, so we'll show how to do that. And, okay, so swoop that. And the other important thing is the crystal lacquer. Do you want to slip that in? This is by Sakura Hobby Crafts, and they are the makers of the glass tiles. And this is sort of magic. It
is.
It's the sealer, and it's also an adhesive.
Right.
And
it's what attaches the bail to the back of your glass piece.
Yeah.
And you might not think that it would be that strong, but...
Because we weren't sure.
Yeah, we had to test it.
So Anne wore all of these around her neck. It was quite lovely.
And this is what, an 1.5 inch square or 2
Right.
inch square. So it's a pretty hefty piece. You'll see
Right.
the
I think it's a
right
2 inch, right, and this is a little bit smaller in a circle. And so whoops, I didn't mean to bring that in. Don't look at that. I didn't mean to bring that one in yet.
And these have dazzles on them, which is kind of fun because the dazzles are nice and shiny on the front, but the image is actually on the back of the glass.
So you see through everything. So what you do is you take, select your glass tile. So do you want to get one of the big ones? And we've just reprinted Vintage Easy Peasy, and what we've done is doubled the amount of art. Is that okay?
Yes.
So there's 180, and then we do have some basic instructions. These are really designed to go with 3 types of jewelry, with the microscope slides, with the Becky Nunn Pateras, and now with the glass tiles. So you can choose the art. And
this used to have overlays in them.
It did.
But
we took them out when...
it made it even easier.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly right. So
maybe we should call it Easy
Easy, really, really super easy. Okay, I'm just going to kind of honk this out. And I'm using a big one just so that you can really see the process. And I'm not trying to cut this out perfectly, and I'm succeeding at that. So there's the piece. And I'm going to bring in the craft sheet, because that's going to be important.
Yes, and here is our glass piece, and there is a right and a wrong side to it. The back side will be a little bit rough, and that's the side you want to put the lacquer on. Okay,
and the thing I do like is that all of the edges are curved, they're slightly rounded, so there's no sharp point that's going to be, uncomfortable or dangerous.
They're all beveled nicely.
Yes.
So when this comes new, it has a little lining on it.
Okay.
And which got stuck in the cap here.
Okay, so you're pulling that out. And
there we go.
Okay.
And then we're going to need some scissors.
I have scissors.
Oh, good.
Okay. And you're going to snip off the tip?
Just going to snip off the tip.
Okay.
So that it can come out.
And that needle nose is nice because it gives you how you can position it.
Right.
Okay.
So I am on, there's the rough side. So basically...
So you're putting it on the glass.
Yes.
Now, I wouldn't have thought of that. I would have thought to put it on the paper.
Yes, the glass, you just want to cover it with a nice even layer.
Okay. And you're going to cover the whole thing.
Yes. You can spread it around with the tip, and...
So that gives you nice coverage.
Yes.
And the crystal lacquer goes quite a ways.
Yes, it does.
So that will work well. Okay.
All right, so that's good enough. And then what I'm going to do is flip this over onto the art.
Now, at this point, we still do not have the art perfectly cut, but that's okay.
But that's okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's going to happen is that the crystal lacquer is going to squish out a bit.
Yes, just a little bit.
And you're going to tell us that's okay.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. And even if it squishes out onto your craft mat, it'll dry, and then you can trim it off.
Okay. And
so you can just kind of wiggle this around until it's framing the exact image you want, and
okay.
There shouldn't be any bubbles in there.
Right, doesn't look like it. So you would let that dry about how long?
Probably a couple hours.
Okay.
To be safe.
And then you'd pick it up and trim it with scissors?
Yeah, when it's dry, this is all solid and everything.
Okay.
Then you can cut it off with scissors or an X-Acto knife.
Okay.
And then you can move on to the next step.
Okay, and the next step would be to pick that up and put more sealer on the back, because you don't want the paper to be exposed to the elements.
Right, so that would make it waterproof.
Right, which is important if you live in the state we live in, which we have quite a bit of rain.
That's correct.
So I'm going to move the craft sheet. Okay.
The sealant on the back, and then when you put the layer of crystal lacquer on there, then you can put the bail on.
Yeah, let's look at the bails. They come in a package like this, and what happens is you see a heart here, but you have a choice to make, and that is, do you want to hide the heart like we've done here, because we didn't want it to interfere with the art, or do you want to let it be on the front and maybe incorporate it into your image?
Right.
So it's your
choice.
choice.
If you wanted to put it on the front, I think you would have to cover the front with another layer of lacquer.
Oh, really?
So that you would set that in there.
Okay. So on all the ones that we did, because we were very carefully selecting our art, we didn't want to cover it up, we've had the heart on the back, so it just works. And we were concerned, as Anne said, you know, this is a honkin' piece, that may be a technical term. Wanted to make sure, would that really hold? And you had it hanging in, you wore it around your body for a while.
I had it hanging at my desk for a while, for a couple days. And at first, it fell off because I didn't let it dry long enough.
Ah.
And I found out that to really be sure that it's, you know, solid and secure, let it dry overnight.
Oh, okay.
That would be my advice.
That makes sense. And as you said, we have added dazzles on the front. There's a swirl there.
Those are the petite dazzles, which I've got right here. They come in silver and gold, and they have tons and tons of images on there.
And they're designed to go with jewelry or small things. So we've got some hearts going down here, and this one.
Right.
And on this one, we've made it copper.
That one is from the corners,
Is
copper
it?
corners.
Okay, so we've put it on top of the woman. The other thing is that if you get a piece of art that, let's see, will you hand me one of the rectangles, that say is too large for the glass, well, you can just trim the paper to fit your glass. So,
and you might even be able to get 2 pieces of jewelry out of 1 piece of art.
actually, that's a smart move. So you can do that. Let's bring in some of the other pieces just so that we can see. We have a photograph.
Those ones?
No, these. The ones by you. Okay. This one has a photograph. We'll need to get in really tight. This is one of the smaller pieces. It's a 1-inch square. And we've also put the petite dazzles on the front that says moments. And so you can see. And you found out something about photographs.
When I used it with the photographs, I found that I got a lot of air bubbles. But I think it's because I was using it by placing the photo onto the glass instead of vice versa.
Okay, which is what you did. You put the glass on top of the paper.
Right.
Okay.
So, and also I tried to remove as many visible bubbles as I could from the crystal lacquer before placing it onto the photo. So with like a craft knife or like a toothpick, I just kind of lifted out those bubbles.
But what we're recommending is take your photograph, print it onto regular paper, not to photo paper.
Right.
And then you're going to be fine. You don't have to worry about bubbles.
But you might worry about running of the colored ink if you have an inkjet printer. So we recommend sealing it with Eileen's tacky glue.
Okay,
so just a thin layer.
You could just take your finger and just brush it over. This is another of the pieces, so that's one of the easy peasy, and here is yet another. So
I love those little butterflies.
Aren't they
Almost looks
sweet?
like they're captured in there.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Okay, so that is one way. You can do it with photographs. You can do it with the easy peasy art. You could
What
do
else
it
can
with
we
dazzle.
do?
Wow, look here. And these are, I think, pretty amazing. Mark Richards has come out with these crystal stickers, and he is going to have some other pieces of jewelry that you can put them on, but they're not quite ready yet, and I didn't want to wait.
Can you see the detail on these?
They are just gorgeous.
They're stunning.
Now, the problem was because these are clear, the crystals are clear, and the glass is clear, and we didn't want the bales to show, what are we going to do? And so I turned to my trusty friend, Anne, and what did you play with?
Well, I played with a couple different things. This one has alcohol ink and silver stays on the back. And the alcohol ink is kind of thick. I applied several different layers. As you can see, the blue has kind of pooled around the sides to give that darker shade. And then I covered it with silver to make it opaque and let it dry before putting the crystal lacquer on the back and placing the bale at the top.
Okay, so that just worked nicely in the alcohol inks.
And this is alcohol inks mixed with the silver and gold, or silver mixatives.
Okay.
With the alcohol inks.
Okay.
And then sealed. Same thing with this one. And then this one was just silver stays on. And you want to make sure the stays on is really dry, which takes a while because it's on such a slick surface.
Okay.
And then I sealed it with the crystal lacquer.
Okay, let me show you how tough this is. Here are the, this is the 2-inch, the 2-pack. They come in multiples. There's 2 or 3 or 4 in the packages. Why isn't this opening up?
The sticker.
Okay, watch her get this out. Okay, now, so here is the glass. Once again, we're showing you something clear on. Now, here is the sticker, and it comes just in a package. They're sold separately. And you can play with these and you know, just see which one matches what. So you lift it off, even though it looks like a lot of little pieces, they come off as one unit. And then you just position them, which is be a little easier if this were closer to me.
Right.
And it just goes down like so. Ta-da!
Wow. That was hard, wasn't it?
That was just, I labored so hard. And then you could do whatever you wanted to on the back, or again, if you wanted to position it so that the heart would work, you can do that. The other thing is, do you have one of the small rectangles?
Yes, I do.
Because sometimes the crystal stickers are a little bit longer, and you can get them and make 2 out of 1 of the crystals. Because you like that, don't you? So all you would do is position it, let's see, like so, get in the middle.
Right in the center.
Which for some reason
I
is
love those
easier.
little swirls.
Do you like that? So you can do it and then trim it. So I'm at a funny angle here. And you can see how many times you can lift them up and put them back down. Okay, so you could do it like that. And then I've got extra here that I could make another one.
Yeah, maybe a little circle or square.
So I am very excited with all the possibilities. And there's one more option, which you played with
Yes, I did.
in doing etching.
So this is etched using some dazzles.
Get these away from you so you can. There you go.
And what I did was place the dazzles on top of the glass, then placed a layer of etching cream and let it etch for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Rinsed it off, and you may want to use it 2 coats of etching cream if it's not all done.
And that happens pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You just have to watch it and see. And then when I peeled off the dazzles, it left it shiny. So you've got that shiny and frosted look. And then I backed it with the just purple paper.
Okay.
Same way as the other pieces.
Okay, and it just gives such a pretty look. And this was a larger dazzle. Was this out of Far East?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so it just gives you yet another look. So
And the petite dazzles would also be very nice.
they would, wouldn't they?
Yes.
And a friend of mine is in a Sweet Adeline chorus, and she's looking to do some things for her members, which probably is a secret. Sorry, Rosemary. But she's looking at these, just thinking, oh, we can get some of the music dazzles.
I love how you can put a little photo in there and create even a keychain if you wanted to.
That's that amazing wearable art.
Yes.
So there you go. Hope you like them.